Hey, everybody. You are about to hear a brief retelling of the movie Jawbreaker. Enjoy the movie. At the top of the school hierarchy were 4 high school girls. Unlike her bitch friends, Lise Purr was a kind and compassionate girl, just perfect, but on the day of her 17th birthday Liz was attacked while she was still in bed. A balloon was stuffed in her mouth and her hands and feet were tied tightly with ropes. The poor girl was dragged outside and thrown into a trunk. Turns out it was her best friends who were playing a prank on her. The girls stopped at a coffee shop to open the trunk and take a photo of frightened Fox, but everything went wrong. The girlfriend, silly as she was, swallowed a balloon and choked to death. The other girls didn't know that Courtney had put a huge candy in the birthday girl's mouth. She thought it would be more fun that way. Julie and Foxy would like to call the police, but Courtney isn't about to ruin her life just because she came up with a witty joke. The brunette calls the school and introduces herself as Foxy's mother and informs them that the girl won't be coming to class today. In the car is the corpse of their friend. This is a sad and disgusting fact, but the girls must go to school and behave as usual. The high school girls chased everyone out of the restroom, including a battered and intimidated Fern. This is where Mrs. Sherwood walks in and asks Courtney to give Lise her homework. In class, the girls are reminded of the crime they committed. At recess, Courtney didn't come up with a plan. They would make it look like a rapist had snuck into Lisa's room and overdid it. Courtney remembered that she'd forgotten to stop by Mrs. Sherwood's to pick up her homework. But Fern, the school outcast, had come to the teacher's office to ask about the botanical club. Miss Sherwood asks her to take Liz's textbooks. Fern idolizes the girl, so she happily agreed. The bitches heard about it and realized they had to hurry. They drove the car up to the house and dragged the corpse to the 2nd floor. Having tortured themselves, they threw the body on the bed. It's good that Fern is a retard and doesn't rush to her idol. The girls put on rubber gloves and started the staging. Their bodies were almost stiff and crunchy, while Julie was fiddling with a greeting card that recorded voices. Fern had gathered her thoughts and was about to make a phone call. The gray mouse decided to enter the house quietly from the yard. As Fern climbed the stairs, she heard Courtney saying that she was the one who killed Fox. Julie, on the other hand, still wanted to call the police. The friends were about to leave and suddenly found Fern Mayo, nicknamed Mayonnaise, standing outside the door. Courtney suggested that she confess what she heard, but she didn't even have time to answer when she saw the corpse of a high school girl. Fern screamed and ran out into the yard. It wasn't hard to catch up with her. Courtney realizes that now in the hands of this loser her fate, so she offers Fern a deal. The queens of the school will make her one of them, those whom everyone adores, but Fern must swear that she will never tell anyone about what she saw today. Fox is dead and Fern can take her place. The girl didn't fight back, and they made her into a hottie. Sort of. Finally, Elizabeth's parents come home to find their daughter turning blue. Only Julie has remorse. They have to tell the truth, but Courtney has already thought of everything. If she opens her mouth, her friends will blame her for everything, and they were just witnesses. Fern almost made a terrible mistake. She wanted to eat her lunch in front of everyone. The thing is, it suggests digestion, gas, and defecation, and as you know, girls don't poop, they do. To her soccer player boyfriend, Courtney introduced Fern as the new girl at school, named Violet. At Miss Sherwood's, Detective Vera Cruz walked in to ask about Elizabeth. Julie now walked separately from her friends, but immediately there was a hairy dude in the car who offered to give her a ride home. She left the guy her phone number and offered to go out with him. Julie looked at the pictures and remembered that she and Fern had been friends in 4th grade and had even slept over at each other's houses. She wanted to talk to her, but then Fern called Courtney and she forgot all about Julie. While Courtney was having fun with her boyfriend, the police showed up. That same night, the cops came to Foxy's house, who was being harassed by her single dad. All the girlfriends were brought to the station so Detective Cruz could question them. The woman pulled out the murder weapon, a big round candy everyone calls Sweet Death. It takes a long time to lick, and if you try to bite into it, you can break your jaw. Elizabeth is found dead in her home on the school speakerphone. Julie feels remorse. At the same time, Miss Sherwood tells the detective that Fox's mom called her and said her daughter had the flu. But the woman denies it. And also the neighbor said that she saw a girl with textbooks at the house. Could Fern be involved in the death of Fox? Girls are going to pick up for their new boyfriend, and it seems they found a suitable candidate. It's a handsome Zach, on which all the girls in the school. But he disappears all day long in the drama club, so you can meet him if you sign up for the theater. Fern has become as bitchy as the queens of the school. She sneers at Julie and ignores her. But Julie has a boyfriend now, Zach, a high school theater actor. The girl tells him that only Foxy meant something to her, and Foxy and Courtney were just for company. That's why Zach hitched a ride with her at the bus stop, because she was alone, without those stuck-up bitches. Fern was finally brought in for questioning by the detective, but she clarified that her name was Violet from now on. She says that she's been pampered by the murdered Fox, sniffing her hair in class and looking at her moles on her neck. Like everyone else, Fern lied about not knowing anything. Now she has nightmares, but the sly Courtney again invented something. She said that Lise had a passion for strange men. She's allegedly knocking up, finding creepy men in bars. Fern took Julie's place not only in the school hierarchy, but at her desk in class. She also started hitting on Zach. After sleeping with some guy, she asked him for a cool red car. It seems the new girl began to outshine her mentors. Zach told Julie that a new student named Violet had gotten a part in their play, and the girl stunned him by telling him that Violet and Fern were the same person, which no one in the whole school could guess. Julie went ahead and told everything they had done to her friend Lise. Zach insisted Julie come clean. With Lise dead, Courtney is now the top contender to be prom queen, and Foxy is sounding the alarm. Fern has become unruly, but Courtney isn't really bothered. But when Fern starts drawing too much attention to herself, the brunette decides to deal with her, but she quickly puts Courtney in her place. Reminding her that she has a trump card, she knows what happened to poor Lise. To prove Courtney's guilt, Julie needs to find the photo she took when her friend's trunk was opened. The girl got scared and dropped the camera, but it's not here now. The couple didn't realize the photo was lying in a ditch not far from them. Julie went to Detective Cruz to tell the truth, but they'd already found the killer. He left footprints on the bed. Julie guessed that Courtney had brought a stranger to Lisa's house that night and slept with him in her bed, hiding her friend's corpse under the bed. Courtney also pasted pictures of Fern on the walls of the school and revealed who the popular new girl Violet really was. Fern got sick and passed out and collapsed on the pavement, and now everyone is mocking the loser. That's how easily Courtney managed to destroy her. Fern passed out again and the girl was covered with her own portraits. Now she regrets acting like a jerk. Julie is on Courtney because of her some poor guy is now accused of murder, but the bitch doesn't care about that. She's only interested in the school prom, which will be held tonight. The auditorium was packed with dressed-up 30-year-olds, but Julie wasn't going to the prom. Her mom walked into her room. Lisa's mother had given her some of her late daughter's things. Among them was the card, and she had written down Courtney's confession. The trio decided to attend the school prom after all. Miss Sherwood took the stage to announce the prom king and queen. The king was expectedly Courtney's boyfriend, at which time Zach got close to the hardware. No one was surprised when the prom queen was announced as Courtney. She went on stage and tried on a crown on her head. When the queen began to make her speech, Zach finished soldering and her confession of killing list was heard from the speakers by everyone in the audience. The school kids whispered and the soccer player left her on stage alone. The students started calling Courtney names and throwing things at her. Dearly shamed, the killer made it to the exit where she was photographed by Julie. That's how Rose McGowan met Marilyn Manson. Okay, here's the real Manson.